Well, we're going to do a little hike today on Old Sugarlands Trail. Well, you guys might recognize this as, well, the parkway leading out of Gatlinburg. And just up the road there, well, that's Sugarlands Visitor Center. Well, our adventure begins today here on this trail, Old Sugarlands. And there's enough parking for about 4 or 5 cars. Dawn, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. We're only about 50 feet onto the trail. You'll come to this, well, rock wall. This is actually where they quarried the rock that you see for a lot of the bridges and stuff here in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Dawn, isn't that amazing? This is where all the rock came from that you'll see on the bridges and that. Yeah, so they actually chipped away and what have you. And there's goes quite up there. You could tell at one time that this actually, well, came all the way down probably to the river's edge here. Here at the quarry, you notice this rock here. Looks awful familiar, doesn't it? Looks like a lot of the bridges you'll see here in the area. The trail's a little mushy this morning. So the trail is getting a little narrower. So this time of year it's really easy to see like foundations and stuff. You can see a little roadway coming off the trail. And then I know you can't really see it real well with the camera. Looks like there's a foundation there and just some, well, metal debris. Probably once was someone's homestead. And we're continue walking up the side of this. Beautiful, isn't it? You actually can see a mountain top over here. The first sign you'll come up to. It's a little confusing on how it's set up. There's actually a fork in the road. Now it looks like the main trail continues on, but we don't want to continue on. We want to take this little, well, side trail here. And we're gonna head down, cross the river. So we're heading down the little, looks like a side trail, but it's really not. It's kind of deceiving. You're gonna come up to this, well, little crossing here. There really isn't a bridge or nothing.
Oh God, I'm gonna die.
You're gonna die. Well, it's absolutely beautiful. There's the river there. And on the other side of the river, that is the ADA handicap accessible Sugarlands Valley Trail just over there. So we're actually on the other side of the river. Beautiful.
Watch your stick, man.
This trail here is Well, pretty much flat. We get a lot of folks asking us, what's a long distance trail we can do that's pretty much flat? And well, it's old Sugarlands. Of course, this actually used to be the main road back before they built Newfound Gap.
I'm at the Sugarlands Trail and everything's just kind of green here and flowing and water is flowing.
Well, it looks like the rhododendrons got some buds. We should be seeing them shortly. Well, I remember this from our last hike on Sugarlands. There's a geological survey marker on this old bridge. And you can definitely tell that this was the original road that ran through here. We've hiked this a few times before. I'll put a link in the description below of the last time we hiked it for YouTube. But when the winter months, when all the foliage is gone, you can see things that you didn't see before. And I just saw something that I have never seen before. So we're gonna do a little off trail in here. Just a few feet in. And looks like it's some old metal or something. At first I thought it was an old plow, but it looks like just some metal. Well, there's a better view of that bridge. It's amazing that the original road ran right through here. It's also amazing on how fast Mother Nature had taken over. And over in the distance there I could see rock walls. So most likely this was a farm at one time. You could tell that this was probably a driveway at one time. I bet you if we did some exploring back there, we'd probably come across some remnants of, well, yeah, there's a foundation over there. This is probably the flattest trail in the Smokies. Well, here's another wall, probably separating one farm to the next. You'll see the sign over here for Old Sugarlands Trail. This is actually where the CCC camp was. Now we have a lot of folks that are in this channel that had either a grandfather or a father that actually worked in this camp back when they were part of the CCC. And so we're going to take a look around, show you just some of the remnants of the old camp here. There's quite a bit here. You ready, Dawn?
I'm ready.
We hiked in about 1.4 miles is where we're at. And right off the bat here, you'll start seeing little remnants. This is probably an old, well, trash can lid. And there's all these little paths every which way. Well, you got these concrete I don't know what they are. And then, of course, they've been sitting there so long, a tree has grown up. Hey, wait a second. I think I know what this is. I think those are sewer grates, probably for each side of the road when they're building Newfound Gap. And that's actually the cement, base plate, probably, for the old drain catching basins. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, I think they're old drain basins.
Is that part of the CC clock?
Well, here's another stack of those. Well, I'm pretty sure they were the bases to the storm drains. But here...
So here we are at the Sugarlands CC camp, and this used to be the time clock, a bulletin board where they would come and get their assignments for the day.
Yeah. And I got some old photos that I'll place right after this showing what it looked like. You can see the little pipe hanging out of it was actually a light. And that's what that is. You can see these old steps. And I know in that old photo you can see the the CCC guys all standing getting a photo took it next to, well, this bulletin board. So we're going to continue up the trail here, and as you go along from this point you'll see all kinds of just, well, I call them relics of the past, but I guess some folks would call it junk. But I like searching out the history, especially here at the CCC. Well, the CCC stood for Civilian Conservation Corps. And this was part of, well, the New Deal. And so their job was, after the park got established, was to come in here, build trails, build roads, and reforest or plant trees, what have you, to turn this back into, well, what it was before the logging era. And you'll see a lot of really cool remnants, especially this one I'm going to show you just now, of a row of trees. I'm guessing this must have been a boundary to maybe the camp. Well, one thing you'll notice here, there's a row of trees. Everybody knows that God doesn't plant trees in a row. Well, there's a non-native bush to the area. So I'm thinking we're standing actually in the middle of the camp. Over here it looks like this was probably a fireplace, or maybe this was actually the main building used to sit here. I think it was like an incinerator. It was like a place where they brought all their trash. Of course, people have found some really unique pieces here. A piece of steel.
It's a plate.
Probably one of the plates that one of the camp guys had eat their meal on. Some old cans, some more china. Really cool. Here's a piece of angle iron, and looks like this might be some kind of coal. There's a piece of steel, and if you look, that is actually a boot. You can actually see where you would put the laces through. That's part of somebody's shoe.
Well, it looks like this tree was hollowed out by the Gatlinburg fires.
Inside this hollow tree, you'll see there's some old nails that were probably put there a long time ago. Well, Dawn, she found a little trove of things that people have collected. Here's a clay pipe. Dicky clay manufacturing company from Tennessee here. And then here's some glass. Looks like an old telephone. You know, we used to wrap the wires around. Of course, a big old jar. And soles. There's actually soles to shoes. Little pieces of. Well, there's some more boot. I wonder if these were the boots of maybe some of the CCC workers, or probably one of the farms in the area. Look at the, there's some broken china. There's a sole of the boot. You can actually see nails. You could tell it's old because they actually use nails to put on the sole of the shoe.
They don't make them like they used to.
No, definitely not.
I wish they did.
There's all kinds of stuff scattered around here.
So we just found some broken glass and shoes. Boy, they don't make the shoes like they used to. I own one pair of shoes probably that I can remember. They had little nails in it. And that's how they should be made. And they're not anymore.
Well, this actually dead ends in a fork. And if you go to the left, that should take you to the cemetery. And if you go to the right, I believe that'll take you up to, well, the stone house. So we're gonna go to the stone house first, then we'll check the cemetery on the way back. Well, here's an old wall. Just on the side of a trail here. This path has pretty much turned into a footpath. We're definitely off trail. This is something here can be very, very dangerous because there's instances where you lose the trail. So I bet you this hike here would not be fun during the summer months. It'd be too overgrown. But definitely a we're off trail now, so well, there's the stone house. The only bad thing is that the river has really swollen up and it's gonna be hard for us to cross. Well, we found the stone house. It's on the top of the hill. Unfortunately, we had a lot of rain lately, and the river crossing here is just way over full. It's too dangerous to cross. When you're about 4 miles in National Park, the last thing you want to do is take chances. And so we're going to leave the exploring of the actual stone house till a later date. Also, the trail to get to the stone house is actually off trail, and it's very difficult to see the trail. So I definitely don't recommend unless you know what you're doing. Okay, so we're back at the Y, back before we head towards the stone house. Like I said, I don't recommend going to the stone house unless you know what you're doing. Yes, don't go there. Also, there's elevation and
there's 2 rivers. And
there's no trail, so guys, definitely. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna head in over here. There's a cemetery just up the hill. Well, here's old Sugarlands Cemetery.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a pretty big cemetery.
Eddie, Kenny.
This one here is what, Ed McKinney, March the 10th, 1903 to 1915. July the 11th, 1887, and died February the 2nd of 1920. So Dawn, what did you think about all that history on that hike that we did?
It was fun.
Yes, we found like the old boots of probably the CCC workers, and it's just amazing history along the whole way. The only thing we don't recommend is going to the stone house unless you know what you're doing. That is off trail, and off trail can be dangerous if you're not prepared, because a lot of times folks don't go down those trails, and if you get lost or you get hurt, there's a chance that people might not be by for a very long time. So we don't recommend unless you know what you're doing or you're a seasoned hiker. But other than that, you can go out and do all the CCC camp and everything around, even up to that cemetery. But yeah, it was great all the way around. I think we did a total of just over 6.5 miles today.
Probably 7.
Close to 7 with just back and forth. So yes, the CCC camp is almost 2 miles in and then 2 miles out. So you can do 4 miles. Well, guys, that's going to do it for today. If you guys like this vlog, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't, please subscribe so you don't miss these upcoming, Smoky Mountain adventures. And we're going to have plenty of Smoky Mountain adventures just around the corner. And until next time.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.